online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Don't worry, Squirrel. We'll get to Mayor Brandon Johnson taking his side action. Stacey Davis Gates to Italy. Try the brajol, Brandon. Scumbag, lowlife. Got the side broad there. They're going to see the Pope. Southside Bob. He's right in line. That's how you know. That's a scam, too. When a Southside Democrat is the Pope, it's time to think about becoming a Episcopalian. But how did we get to this spot? I mean, after all, you're selling bull dung. Look at these ghettos from sea to shining sea, wherever the Democrats are. Ghettos, election thieves, welfare fraud. How do you get here?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in four basic stages.
The chaos that anyone in the year 2026 would still consider supporting the ideology of the ghetto is completely outrageous.
A 15-year-old is in critical condition after a shooting in Bronzeville. Police say this happened right near 48th and Calumet, which is just down the street from the 47th Street station.
Saquon is live there now with the very latest. Say.
Hi,
hey guys, yeah, so as you mentioned, we're here in the Bronzeville neighborhood, and we've been chatting with neighbors who live nearby, a lot of them telling me that they heard between 60 to 80 shots fired in the early hours of this morning. And in fact, a lot of these neighbors are telling me, you know, they park outside and their cars now have damage as well.
60 to 80 shots from the products of CPS, of which these taxpayers and all taxpayers in Illinois pay $33,000 a year to pretend they go to school. Hey, did they make it to school on time, or were they late? Are you tardy? And that's why you should never consider voting for a Democrat. And that is also why insurance companies should never give car insurance, home insurance, any kind of insurance in Democrat communities, because that doesn't happen in civilized areas. But let's put lipstick on that pig, shall we?
Mayor Brandon Johnson met with Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican this morning, saying it was a tremendous honor, and he was deeply humbled by it. Here's what...
Did you not stoop your girl right when you got back to the hotel room, Stacey Davis Gates? What the hell is she doing in the Vatican, and how much did these two idiots... How many Catholic schools closed because of just these two idiots and the Chicago Public Marxist Mafia Teacher Union? Can you factor that in? Of course not. And that's the ideological subversion that would get you to even consider promoting the ideologue of communism, Marxism, socialism, or any American Democrat fraud. Here they are in unison. These are senators and congressmen elected, all Democrats, and they're all spewing the same thing. This is this morning.
That ain't true. That's what you just said. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are up, not down. Inflation is getting worse, not better. Prices of groceries, gas, housing, even eggs. He's letting Elon Musk take a chainsaw, giving him access.
It's nauseating, isn't it? They have never had an original thought in their lives. And when they do, they expose themselves for what they are. A congresswoman from Seattle, a dunghole ghetto, where the Wildings, the Savages, Antifa, and every other deadbeat welfare suck-on has destroyed the quality of life. And what is this cockeyed dimwit selling?
I worked on global health for 10 years before coming to Congress, so it's an area that I'm very interested in. Cuba has a remarkable public health system, lowest infant mortality, maternal mortality, sort of the opposite of what the United States has.
All lies. Can't get a frackin' aspirin in a Cuban hospital unless the Cuban brings it from the black market. That's what it really looks like. And the reason is the communists of Cuba, they just do what the Democrats of Chicago, the Democrats of New York, the Democrats of California, and the Democrats of America do. They lie, they cheat, and they steal.
They have a private military company named Gaesa who's sitting on $18 billion of assets. And not a penny of that transfers over to the state budget. Not a penny of that goes over to help the people of Cuba.
That was Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking to the media in Homestead today. You will hear him talk about Gaesa a lot, and there's a reason for that.
Gaesa is a business conglomerate operated by the Cuban Revolutionary Armed Forces, and it's even more powerful than the island's Communist Party.
You want to know the best part, Squirrel? That isn't getting covered nationally, but it is here in South Florida. The best part is the communist daughter was living in Miami as a multi-billionaire whore. Just like Fidel Castro's daughter, just like Maduro's daughter, and Hugo Chavez, may he burn in hell for 1,000 years as he works the glory hole when Madeleine Albright isn't busy. This is how it operates. They just fluff up their family, like little Dick Durbin and his portly wife.
Here to explain how Gaesa started and why it matters is NBC6's Lorena Inclán, live from the Freedom Tower with more. Lorena?
Well, Jackie and Joanne, exactly 2 weeks ago, the Trump administration handed out fresh sanctions against Gaesa, which is a Spanish acronym that stands for Business Administration Group. Now, Gaesa was started by Raul Castro, who yesterday was indicted on murder charges with an announcement made here at the Freedom Tower.
Here's some of what Gaesa controls in Cuba. Hotels, gas stations, supermarkets, currency exchange, marinas, real estate, and many more entities. According to the Department of Justice, Gaesa controls an estimated 40% or more of the island's economy.
They haven't spent a penny in fixing their energy production, their electrical grid. They don't spend any money on that stuff. They pocket it. They have a private military company named Gaesa who's sitting on $18 billion of assets. And not a penny of that transfers over to the state budget.
The DOJ says Gaesa's revenues are likely more than 3 times the state of Cuba's overall budget. So who manages Gaesa's books? According to U.S. officials, that would be a woman by the name of Ania Guillermina Lastres Morera. The DOJ named her specifically in this month's sanctions, saying she handles Gaesa's illicit assets that are held internationally. In a video released by Secretary Rubio yesterday ahead of Raul Castro's indictment, he blamed Gaesa for the suffering faced by everyday Cubans.
And then what happens? Only in decent-run areas.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Thursday that the U.S. had arrested Adis Lastres Morera, the sister of the executive president of Cuba's Gaesa, a sprawling conglomerate of military-run businesses. In a post on X, Rubio said that, quote, Morera was managing real estate assets living in Florida, while also aiding Havana's communist regime. That's until he, quote, terminated her permanent resident status. In a separate statement, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement said Morera was now in their custody pending removal proceedings.
You know how long this has been going on? Since the beginning! How long it's been going on. And yet what did Biden, Obama, Clinton, Bush, what did they do about it? Nothing. Because they run the same scams here.
A former CIA official is accused of stealing hundreds of gold bars worth more than $40 million from the federal government. Court filings in Virginia show David Rush, who had top-level security clearance and working at the agency, was arrested and charged with criminal theft of public money last week. A search of Rush's house found more than 300 gold bars, $2 million, and 35 luxury watches. An FBI affidavit says Rush requested a significant quantity of foreign currency and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars for work-related expenses. The files don't mention...
You know who else never mentioned about the private company owned by the upper echelon of the communists? CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. What good are you morons? Oh, I remember. You're the ones who worked hand in glove with Barack Obama, with George Bush Sr., with Jimmy Carter. You're the ones that are at the root of every fracking problem this country faces over and over and over again. And by the way, the story I played you, that was the updated version. The first story, he didn't really steal it. He was just found with it. You see, that's when the CIA puts the media in motion, and they could come up with any excuse necessary. When the story first broke, it broke a little different than that.
I get to some breaking news now back here in the U.S. A former CIA senior officer is accused of secretly stashing 300 gold bars in his house that he brushed off as work-related expenses, according to court documents, and 2 people familiar with his employment history. Julia Ainsley is joining us now.
In an undescript house in Virginia, how many are there? Every CIA agent should have his house flipped. Every single one of them. And if you think it's something new, it's been going on since the Cold. It's been going on forever. It's how they operate.
In 1985, a CIA officer started selling America's deepest secrets to Russia. Aldrich Ames had access to every Soviet operation the CIA was running. Names, locations, methods, everything. For 9 years, he fed intelligence to Russian handlers through elaborate dead drops around Washington.
You know how it started, Squirrel? He owed $50,000 in credit card debt and other debts. For $50,000, he sold those names, immediately attributing to 3 deaths. Immediately for $50,000. So the real news and story of inflation is at least the price went up of the CIA scumbags becoming traitors to their nation. And that's the name of the game. That's how it works. And that's why they never catch the scandals that they just stumble upon when decent people are in decent areas. But they don't want decent people in decent areas because the CIA and the FBI all sat on laptops and thousands, hundreds of thousands of evidence, prima facie evidence of Joe Biden's corruption, let alone the fact that he had soiled his trousers at least 175 times in front of other people.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified, I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
Exactly. That's not what she said the day after, Squirrel. Oh, no. They said he did a great job.
What you saw last night on the debate stage was Joe Biden, a president with integrity and character. Yeah. Who told the truth. Yeah. And Donald Trump told lie after lie after lie. Oh, you're good. You're so good.
Yeah, you got the same script. It's not true. Well, I don't blame her. After all, he was banging her when she was 15 years old as the babysitter of the kids. See, that's when he started. Sick bastard. Another pedophile. Another one linked. Kid sniffer. Another one linked to scandal for 5 decades. Kind of reminds me of the Epstein files. And the Epstein files, which really revealed no connection to Donald Trump, but certainly one to Reed, Fat Pig, Jello in a baggie Hoffman.
Another thing that he and his lawyers have often spoken about is the lack of disclosure about a big Democratic donor funding part of this case. Was there a reason it wasn't disclosed, and did you view this as political in any way?
No, I just completely forgot that he even existed.
In your deposition?
Yes, in my deposition.
You didn't forget your cat nipples.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which, the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
You're either in on it or you're a schizophrenic with a cat named Nipples. That's who makes up the Democrat Party. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy,